It's your boy. That's right. We back at it. We are back at it, people. Shalom, Israel. How y'all doing today? Hope y'all are doing well. It is January 16th, 2022. And it's your boy, the People's Champ. Coming back at you. Today's show is the Young Man's Money Plan Part 2. We're going to be talking about a little bit of credit and generational wealth. So strap in with me. Let's get our disclaimer out. You don't want to be here, don't be here. Move around. You ain't got to be here, people. You ain't got to be here. Excuse me. This podcast are for people, these podcasts that I do are for the people who want solutions to problems. We're not here just talking about problems. We're going to talk about some solutions to some of these problems that we got going on within the nation of Israel, better known as the Black community in America, the Negro. Okay? Well, my manners, let's get this pineapple sage going. Let's get it going. Yeah, baby. Like that. Get that going, set the mood. A little hydration. And some of my voice don't crack. Don't want it to crack. Give y'all a couple minutes. Some of y'all are starting to trickle in. We are broadcasting live on V Speaks, Van Johnson on Facebook, as well as VBin Israel on YouTube. So however you getting me, please like, share, subscribe, comment. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get it going. So a few weeks ago, I started talking about this plan that I came up with that I've been working on for a while to help our boys and our young men. This isn't a plan that's going to help them in the immediate future. This is a 10-year plan, folks. This is a 10-year plan. Our boys need help. They need help, and it's time for us to take responsibility and accountability and start making sure we provide them with the resources that they're going to need in the future when they become men, so that way they could lead communities. We always talking, shit, but we ain't doing nothing for these boys. So the girls got a safety net. We're not talking about the girls. The men, these young men are going to be the safety net for your girls. Okay? That's the way it's supposed to be. We need to get back to that order. So this particular part 2, we're going to talk about how young men can build credit. Give them a little basic understanding of the importance of credit and how they can start cultivating. Okay? Nobody gave us, and us is Generation X, nobody gave us this information. We had to figure this out. Some of us are still figuring it out and have not figured it out. We know what it is, but we don't know how to do it. Some of these tools I'm giving you parents, you can actually implement it in your lives. But young men is who I'm really talking to and focused on today. That's those men between 18 and 25, those young men. That's who I'm talking about today. So again, mamas, single mamas, uh, you women who want to be have husband sons, you cannot do this for your son. What you can do is have your son watch this video and shut the fuck up. It's time for y'all to stop talking. Let the men speak to the boys. We don't need y'all translating and trying to run a filter. They need to start getting information straight from men to young men. We don't need y'all running interference. That's the best thing you could do for your son when it comes to this particular segment of this podcast. Allow them to hear it straight out, straight out. You don't need to be filtered. Just sit there and be quiet. Watch it with them, but be quiet. They got some questions, put them in touch with me. 9 times out of 10, y'all can't explain it. You're going to mess it up. It's no disrespect, ladies. These are facts. Just look at the results in our community over the last 60 to 70 years. Y'all ain't did a good job. It's time to right the ship. I with Captain now. Talk to y'all like I'm a Somalian pirate. I the captain now. And this is serious, it's a serious topic. I know I joke sometimes, but it's not a joke. Um, and I'm trying to bring a little bit of cancer and humor into it. Because some of y'all getting your feelings when somebody tell y'all to shut the fuck up. I mean, but you need to shut the fuck up. Because see, you ain't gonna hear me when I say I need to be quiet. You need to just let the boys hear they self. I'll talk to you soft like that. You ain't gonna hear it. So I'm talking to you in your language. That's why I'm speaking the way I speak. Cry loud, spare not. I do not care about your feelings in case this is your first time watching my videos. I don't know how many years I got to say that. I do not this ain't about your feelings and your emotions. That has no place here in this space, over here in the black manosphere. We ain't talking about feelings over here. I feel. Get that shit out your vocabulary. You sound stupid. Um, we are critical. We are at a critical junction, and things have to start to change. We have to make and implement changes now, right now. Can't wait. You don't have time. We got to start building these boys up, these young men, rather, so they can prepare themselves to be husbands, so they can lead their households, so they can be leaders in their neighborhoods, so they can be leaders in their broader communities. This is what we have to do. We got to right the ship. The gynocracy is over. It's canceled. It's done. Y'all lost the battle of the sexes. Now it's time to come back to the table and negotiate the peace. Or die. Die alone. Die with your dogs and your cats. Because, see, understand, we don't need you. Black woman, we want you. Oh, I love me some black women. Oh, I love y'all. Oh, all sizes and shapes and colors. Oh, y'all dark chocolate ones. Oh, we love you so much. So don't give me that crap of he hate women, he bash the women. No, I love y'all. Love y'all. And I'm saying what I'm saying because I love you. Love is correction. That's what love is. And as the scriptures say, it's grievous to those that hate the way. Y'all hate righteousness. That's why it makes you cringe when I say certain things, and y'all want to try to mask it. Your tone is off, and listen. Let me explain something about tone. That's such a foolish thing, and it's a cop out and an excuse. We all went to school. We all had teachers we did not like, but I guarantee something: you learned from those teachers you didn't like. You went on to college. You had professor. There was always one professor that taught that course that you had to have for your the curriculum of your degree. You had to have that 202 or you know that 303 class. You had to have it. It was the only professor that taught it once a semester, and that professor was an asshole. Guess what? You went through that class. You passed that class. You learned something. You don't learn from people you like, unfortunately, because all they're gonna do is reinforce your bullshit. What did Mr. Nasty say? Angry gets shit done. So I don't mind making y'all angry. I don't mind pissing y'all off because I know it's gonna get shit done. I jumped right into it today. No music, no intro music. We just jumped right on into it. I had time for games because we are in slavery. I don't know what y'all concept of America is. I really don't know where y'all think y'all at. The 13th Amendment did not free slaves. Read it. It defined slavery. It didn't eliminate slavery. It didn't abolish slavery. Those words are not in the 13th Amendment. Read. Read, Judah. We are in slavery. Uh, excuse me. How do we know that? How do we know we are still in captivity, people? Well, it's because God told us we was. And I'm going to read Baruch chapter 3, verse 8, King James Version. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast started, where that hath scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments. That's the key. Subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God. That's how you know you're in slavery. Let me put that into modern language for you. You go to work. You work 40 hours a week on whatever job you got. When it's time for you to get your paycheck at the end of the week or at the end of the 2 weeks, there's two numbers on your paycheck primarily. There's a net and a gross. The net is the bigger number. The gross is the number after they took your payment out. You have to pay to be here in America. It's called taxation. And yes, you get taxation without representation. You have no choice. They take your money. That's what God said. You're going to be subject to payments. That's how we know we are still in slavery. Slavery did not end in 1865. The Civil War ended, but not slavery. He who does not know history is doomed to repeat it. Y'all don't know what happened last week, let alone what happened in 1865, 1619, 1492, or at any other point in history. It's time to wake up. You're still asleep. Y'all all run around talking about you woke. No, that's what you say when you're sleepy. I'm woke. I'm woke. That's sleepy people say shit like that. No, nobody who been woke say I'm woke, because it's obvious that you're woke. You don't have to explain it to nobody. You woke. You up. You moving around. You are functioning. You are being productive. Right? Who says I'm woke? Somebody you just tried to wake up. They half sleep. They're in a dead state. Those dry bones in the valley of death, in the shadow of the valley of death. The shadow of the valley of death that you Christians like to quote in your prayers is slavery. Y'all don't hear me. Y'all don't hear me. I ain't gonna start preaching. Y'all don't hear me. Talking to the left side of the church. In the back. Came in late. All right. So I posted in the description what my plan is about, some notes. I'm not going to go over those notes. I suggest if you did not see part one, you go back and watch part one. The Young Man's Money Plan. This is part two. We're not going to do a recap. We're going to jump straight into credit. 18-year-olds to 25-year-olds is who I'm talking to. Credit, well, let me talk a little bit about wealth for a minute. Let me put wealth ahead of credit. You got a lot of buzzwords that's going on in today's society. Every little hood rat is running around here talking about generational wealth. And their understanding of wealth is income. They're actually mixing the terms up. They think the higher a person's income, the more wealth they have. That's not necessarily true. Allow me to explain. You could be a man that's making $75,000 a year. However, depending on where you are located, New York City, Chicago, Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, Philadelphia, Baltimore, that $75,000 is not going to take you very far. So we call that cost of living. You're making $75,000 a year and you needed the entire $75,000 to make it through that year. Your rent is astronomical in New York and a lot of these other cities. It's much higher than it is here in Charlotte and San Antonio, some other place, some other smaller cities. So $75 here in Charlotte is going to be much more, going to take you much further than it would in New York or Los Angeles. I hope you're with me. So if you're a woman that says, well, I need a man who make at least $75,000 a year, depending on where you live, that is a stupid statement. That $75,000 a year may be the equivalent of $40,000 a year here in Charlotte. Okay. Also, the average American only has $400 in savings. Ain't nobody saving no money today. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck in today's world. And again, that's some people who are making good money, 75,000, 85,000, 100,000. They too are living paycheck to paycheck because of their cost of living. Now, the difference between you, young man, and your competitors is your competitors have true generational wealth at their disposal. It was passed down from generation to generation to generation. It may not be cash money, but it may be land. It may be a house, real estate investments, a trust fund, some kind of annuity that they get paid out. So in a recession like we've been going through, we went through one in 2008 to 2010, and we kind of been in a semi-recession with this pandemic. Your competitors have been able to weather the storm better than you, because all you had was unemployment. You hope. Why they got an annuity coming in, plus the unemployment, plus they had the house they living in has been paid for 2 generations ago. They got mom and daddy who got some money and some resources that they can help with. You don't have that because you came from a single mama. Understand? Let's get to the definition. I want to be clear on this concept because I get tired of these girls on these all over the internet talk about generational wealth, and it sounds stupid. The definition of generational wealth, and you can find this in the description, includes financial assets such as property, investments, money, or anything with a monetary value that you pass down from one generation to the next. Well, the silent generation, which would be Generations X's grandparents, they tried to do this. So they passed down a little bit to the baby boomers. That was our parents. In turn, our parents were supposed to pass those same things to us. Grandma's house should not still be in the baby boomer's hand. It should be in Generation X's hands. But what happened? The baby boomers fucked up. They double and triple mortgaged grandma's house. They lost the house. And they had nothing to give us as a generation, as a group. Nothing. We have to break that trend. That's what this young man's money plan is about. We got to start at the ground floor and work our way up. I start all over. So effectively, you got to start where your great grandparents were. They started and built up wealth. A lot of them. They weren't given very much. They had to develop it themselves. That is what you have to do, so that way you guys have a shot at creating generational wealth that you can pass along to your children. It's too late for us. And I'm sorry. I wish I had more to give y'all. But I want to peep y'all the game. I want to pull your coat. As the old men would say, I'm gonna pull your coat, man. I'm gonna hip you into this. I'm sorry, I'm dry. I still got COVID, y'all. I think I'm gonna take another COVID test tomorrow. I really hadn't had no symptoms. I've been asymptomatic for the most part, but I do notice at times my mouth has gotten dry. I don't know if that's me just talking too much shit, but anyway. So, why is it foolish that these young girls are running around worried about generational wealth? Let me explain. At the end of the Civil War in 1865, the Negro population in this country was roughly 4 million newly freed ex-slaves. Those people accounted for 1/2 of 1% of this nation's wealth. That's 0.5. 0.5, not even 1%, 1/2 of 1%. 0.5. Fast forward to 2022. We now have roughly 43 to 45 million Negroes. Okay. And we are responsible for what percentage of this country's wealth? 0.5%. That number has not changed one bit. Education is not the key. The white man's education is designed to do exactly what it's been doing. It is functioning correctly to keep you poor and working. It was by design. Somebody has to be the working class. The poor people will always be among us. It was designed that way. So you think they're going to give you the tools to dig yourself out of captivity? Absolutely not. Never trust thine enemy, the Bible says. Their system is functioning correctly. It's doing what it was designed to do. So with all your Oprahs, all your Puffies, all your Dr. Dre's, all your Master P's, all your LeBrons, all your Kevin Durant's, all your James Harden's, all of that money still only means 0.5%. It's like three-card Monty. They didn't take money from their community and put in our community to create all of these billionaires and millionaires that we love to point to. They shifted the money from amongst ourselves. Okay? And they got you looking for the queen all the time. Three-card Monty. Generational wealth is a premature thing. We trying to get to the third and fourth floor of the economic ladder before we've built the first floor, the ground floor. So talking about generational wealth is stupid. It's pointless. We're not doing it, nor have we ever done it to any degree, to any really big degree of success to move that number, even 0.5%. It's always been 0.5. Same amount of numbers. And now we got, really it's less if you think about it, because you got 10 times the amount of people sharing the same amount of wealth as 4 million people were sharing. Now, in contrast, white America controls about 87% of the country's wealth. It's locked in. It will never move. So what does that tell you? There's only about 13% out there that all the other groups of people are competing for. We're not being competitive because we're still at 0.5 of that 13% that's available. We don't even have half of that. We're competing. We're not competing. We're not competitive because most of us don't even understand the game that is being played. We don't even know there is a game being played. We think your paycheck matters. It doesn't matter because you can have a guy making $40,000 a year who's outperforming a man that's making $100,000 a year in the same city because it's the mindset. See, this is why I told y'all in the first video: stop buying designer clothes, stop buying $300 pairs of sneakers every other day. Stop playing PlayStation games, buying PlayStation games, and all this foolishness that we do. Because, see, that doesn't lead to generational wealth. What did the definition say? Anything with a monetary value. PlayStation games have no monetary value once you pay for it. Take it to the pawn shop and see how much you get. That game that you just paid $70 for, go to the pawn shop and see what they give it to you, give you for it. $10 at the most, $5 probably. Yeah, it's not. It has no monetary value. It's a depreciating asset. That's what we call that in economics. A depreciating asset, like a car. As soon as you drop it off the lot, the value drops. For a brand new car, the value drops roughly almost 50% in the first 3 years. So if you buy $100,000 car in 3 years, that car is worth, at best, assuming you kept it in great condition, $50,000. It will never go up in value. It always goes down. Whereas a house, for example, is an appreciating asset. You buy $100,000 house, 3 years from now, you're going to have a little equity. Probably. 10 years from now, you're definitely going to have some equity. That $100,000 house may be worth 150, 110, 150, who knows, depending on the area. You may get lucky and be in a hot area and it doubles. In 20 years, you definitely going to have some equity. The definition of income: a gain or recurring benefit, usually measured in money, that derives from capital or labor. So with black people, we don't understand capital either. We understand labor. That's what you get paid, your paycheck. You go to work, you get paid for the hours that you work. That's what income is for black people. For you Negroes. You went to work, you got some money. The money you got, it's like, remember, them payments had to come out. So they're gonna take your payment, your right to be in slavery payment from you. That's called taxes. And then what's left is your income, your net. I think I said it wrong earlier when I was giving the explanation. Your gross is the big number and net is the small number after all the payments come out. Anyway, wealth. An abundance of valuable material, possession, or resources. And abundance. You got to have an abundance of things that's worth something or money. Meaning the abundance is everything. An abundance would be over what you made or what you needed to survive for that year. So go back to the first example. You made $75,000 for the year, and it took you $75,000 to survive that year. You have no abundance. Now, if you correct yourself and you end up, you go from January 1st to December 31st. What you have in your bank account on January 1st the next year is the abundance. How much you have left over. So If you got $100 in your account, and I mean in your savings, I ain't talking about the checking. In your savings account, that's what you made for the year. You didn't make $75,000 for the year. You made $100. That's the abundance. That's your assets. Your car ain't worth nothing. If you don't own a house, we can't count that as an asset. Your PlayStation, your Jordans, your clothes, that ain't worth nothing. This is what I'm telling you, young man. I'm putting you on a path to buy a house because that's going to set everything else up. That's the number one asset, the way to build wealth for Black people historically in this country. That's what you're working for the next 10 years. If you're 18, when you get 28, you should be in a position to buy a house. And I'm talking about damn near paying the house off. I'm trying to set you up like a boss. Yeah, you could jump out there and do a no money down kind of situation if you can afford it. But I'm trying to make you into a boss, make a power move, so that way you have equity. You're in a position to keep the house no matter what. Because again, take a house, $125,000 house here in Charlotte. You put $100,000 down on that house. That means you have a $25,000 mortgage. That mortgage you should be able to pay off in 4 years. That's like buying a car. So you'll have a $400 a month payment, and that should include insurance, HOA, pool dues, maintenance, taxes, if you're smart, for the next 4 or 5 years. So that means 5 years. That means at 33, you can have a house that's paid for. Now, the next 30 years of your life, you ain't got no rent. All you doing is paying property taxes. You ain't paying $1,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment. God knows what it's going to be in 10 years. That's money back in your pocket. See, Uncle V got you. I'm trying to set y'all up. I'm trying to change this. Because these jobs ain't going to be, they ain't paying no money. That's why you got so many men living in shelters, sleeping in tents here in Charlotte. It ain't that they ain't working. They just don't make enough money to afford, even qualify for an apartment. If the apartment is $1,000 a month and they want 3 times the rent, that means you got to make $3,000 a month just to qualify for the apartment. 3 times 12 is $36,000 a year. Are you making that just to qualify? Well, a lot of them aren't. Just $10 an hour ain't $36,000 a year. $40,000 a year is roughly $20 an hour. See, ain't nobody ever explained the numbers to y'all. I'm trying to set y'all up. The cost of inflation was just 7% last month. So that means, compared to the previous year, things cost you 7% more. That may not seem like a lot of money to you, but that's less money in your pocket. Now, hopefully y'all are with me. Please, young men, if you have questions, leave me a comment, inbox me. I will be more than happy to talk to you one-on-one. Or if I get a lot of you, we'll do a Zoom call and I'll talk to you guys one-on-one. This should be very simple, though. Credit is very important. And you need to protect your credit. Right now, 18-year-old to 25, you shouldn't have nothing you putting in your name. of any significance. Stop running out here trying to buy these cars that you can't pay for. Get yourself a good used car. But what you do need to do is whoever you bank with, you need to get a secured credit card. Start out with $500. That means you're going to take $500 and you're going to buy your credit. And that's what your balance is going to be. You're going to have an available credit balance of $500. Now, here's the plan. Here's how you use this to build credit. Your groceries, your gas, your light bill, all of those, whatever you would normally be using on your debit card, use your credit card first and pay it off right away. So if you pay a $200 bill, light bill, with your card, you got a $500 credit limit. $200, you got $300 left. That $200, you should be paying it off with your next paycheck. Pay it off right away. So that way, you're not carrying a balance into the next credit card cycle. Also, you're not carrying a high utilization rate, which also affects your credit score. You guys should, if you follow my plan, there's no reason why you shouldn't have high 700 credit score. Download an app called Credit Karma. Sign into it. It shows you your utilization, your balance, what's on your credit report, and what your credit score is. It should be 700 and up. And if you follow what I'm telling you to do, it's going to go up even higher, and they're going to increase your credit limit. So you do that for a year, they're going to give you more credit. So that 500 is going to turn into 1,000 or 2,000. And never put anything on your credit card that you can't pay off immediately. The same for buying J's, unless you got the money to pay for them J's right there. But if you're saving money, you shouldn't be wasting them on J's anyway. You want to fill up your gas tank? $50. Every 2 weeks, or how often you filling up. Put it on your debit card. You paying $50 a week for gas. That means at the end of the 2-week period, you got $100 that you need to pay off on your credit card. Now you're building credit. Most credit cards have some kind of rewards points. You're building rewards points, and you're establishing a good credit history. Again, this is going to matter later on in life when you need to buy that new car, when you need to get financing for your house because you're going to have an interest rate and it's going to be lower. If you have bad credit, you may not be able to get financing, or you're going to have to pay high interest for the same exact thing, meaning you're going to have to pay more for the same thing that a person with good credit would pay less for. Does that make sense? Protect your credit like is blood in your body. Protect it. Don't be co-signing for your mama. Oh, mama need a car. I'm going to help mom out. It is not your job to help your mom out. It's not your job or your responsibility. Mom is supposed to have a husband. And if she don't, she better find one. You are not her husband. It's not your job to take care of mom. A lot of black men have gone broke trying to take care of people that they're not supposed to take care of. So, please, gentlemen, watch part 1. This is in addition to part 1. I put a couple links at the bottom. If you don't have a good bank, I put a link for Aspiration Bank. That's a good bank. And they do cash back also. You definitely want to, a lot of companies are doing cash back. on debit cards now. So you definitely want to have cash back on the debit card. When you get a credit card, a secure card, they're gonna have programs like cash back and points and all kind of things too. Aspirations is a good bank. The link is in the description. Acorns, use that to invest your money. That's your $200 a week. You use Acorns to invest it until you get with your financial advisor. What did I put another link in there? I think I put 3. Aspirations, Acorns. What else did I put in there? I'm sorry. I was trying to go from memory. Let me use my notes. That's why I got them. That's why I got them. And I put a link to the young man's money plan part 1. So please watch that. Save it. Watch it more than once. Share it on your timeline so you have access to it. Keep your dick in your pants, fellas. That's important because you can ruin yourself financially by making a baby mama, having a baby at this age. You shouldn't even be thinking about girls right now. And so after this plan is implemented, you go out on a date here and there, but strap up, protect your seed, because your seed is your legacy. And that says a lot about the quality man you are, how you control having dick control. Fellas, I'm talking to you straight. Keep it in your pants. You're going to have way more fun at 33 with a paid off house. You're going to have better quality coochie. Prettier girls. Trust me. Most of them girls y'all dealing with now, they ain't even finished developing yet. You don't know what they're going to look like in 10 years. That's not your priority. Just getting this money, that's your priority. Protecting your credit is your priority. Not trying to ball out and press these little girls that ain't going to matter in 10, 20 years anyway. They ain't going to matter. Ask your parents, ask your dad, ask your uncles. How many girls that they still talk to from when they was in high school? Maybe 1 or 2. All that don't matter. Because if you have a baby now, that's going to set you back. Then you may not recover from it. It's going to limit your ability to make moves later on where it really counts. Listen to your uncle, boy. Listen to your Uncle V. I'm trying to tell you. I'm the people's champ. I ain't got no game in the fight for you. I ain't got no dog in the fight. I'm fighting for y'all. Have some dick control, and it starts now. Because y'all can make babies now. Start making babies at 12 years old. Practice dick control. It's more than enough women out here. Trust me, you're not missing out. It's more women than men. If you do what I'm telling you to do, you're going to have your choice. I'm trying to make sure I've hit everything I wanted to hit. Like I said, if y'all got questions, comments, even you mothers, if you got a comment, inbox me or whatever. You want me to talk to your boy, that kind of thing. Your job is not to do this for him or assist him. The assistance is giving him the plan. Other than that, you got to step back and let him be a man. This is important. I know it's hard because y'all develop that separation anxiety disorder. Guess what that leads to? You create mama's voice. Look it up. It's a clinical term for it. Separation anxiety disorder leads to mama's voice and husband sons. And that ain't doing no good out here. Because then your daughters out here looking for husbands And these men ain't shit. They ain't this. They ain't the men today and all that nonsense they talk that they done heard y'all say. Well, y'all the ones that's creating them. I'm giving you another plan. How to make a better man. And it involves you stepping out the way. Menstruous women bring forth monsters. Thus saith the Lord. Y'all got to be aware of your own nature. Stop making monsters and start making men. That's all I got. That's all I got. We're gonna be doing another part. It's gonna be an ongoing series. I hope some of y'all have already started doing this, setting up them accounts. You got the ACORNs. Um, use the link I provided because you get a little extra bonus when you sign up for it and start doing it. Use your tax money, ladies. Y'all got tax money coming in. Take some of that tax money. Don't buy no TVs this year. Don't buy that nigga nothing. Invest in your son. Throw it right. Throw that whole amount right on the damn on an account for him and forget about it. Get ahead of the game. That's all I got. I am the people's champ, Ben Israel. Like, share, subscribe. And I'm out.